Okay, so let's talk grip and then we'll talk footwear. So for your grip, this is a double overhand grip, right? I just take my hands, I go down to the barbell, my thumb goes around the bar. That's called a double overhand grip. And that's what most of you will start your workouts with today and probably use a lot. What's the problem with the double overhand grip? Well, as the weight gets heavy, my hand's gonna wanna open up, right? My grip strength is gonna be the limiting factor on my ability to hold the bar. Now, some people are grip strength, diehards, and they're like, I don't wanna be able to deadlift something that I can't hold in my hands. I think that's nonsense. I think that if you have a big, strong back and glutes and hamstrings, I also think you should have grip strength, but I don't think that, your body is obviously gonna be stronger than just your hands, right? And when you're executing this movement. Again, I'm always talking just normal everyday lifters. So double overhand's just fine, but it will start to fail. So you have options. One option is the mixed grip, like this. So you flip one hand over and leave one supine. And so when I do this, there's opposing forces. So as I come up, it's easier to hold on to and maintain my grip. Are there problems? Well, yeah, it's not asymmetrical. It's not symmetrical, right? It's asymmetrical. This shoulder's like this shoulder's like this, and external rotation. So there's some issues. There's also some scare of bicep tear, right? Your bicep tendon. I've told that in these classes for, 10 years and said that. And then I finally watched one last year, right? Guy deadlifting, flipped his hand over. He had trained the day before, heavy. He always does hook grip, which I'm about to cover, or straps. The gym didn't have straps. His grip was shot. He's like, I'll do mixed. He's a 50-pound deadlifter. So he took a body accustomed to lift a whole bunch of weight and applied a grip that it's not been trained for, right? So I'm not gonna scare you out of this, but if you're gonna do this, then you gotta train it, and you can't just I forgot my straps today, my thumbs hurt from hook grip, let me just mix grip. So I tell you that because I don't want to scare you from it, but I want you to know it's a real thing, right? It's not just like folklore that we talk about. So that is a fear there, or something to consider. And the last thing would be some twisting and turning, right? Just because you have these opposing forces, you'll often see like this hand's pulling back and this one's wanting to come out. So they're just things you have to fight. We may do that. We may have somebody do that very thing today. The next thing would be the hook grip. Right? So this is my favorite. It's going to be all of yours least favorite. You love to complain and whine, my thumbs. But I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to let you decide what you want to do. But you just take your hand, you wedge it down in the bar, you wrap your thumb around it, and then you take these two fingers and you grab back against your thumb. So read it looks like that, right? And what are you doing? You're taking the pressure point here, the pad of your thumb, and you're creating a friction point against the bar. So this now is where the bar is sitting, and it's a much better grip, more secure. You're going to be able to do it more than a double overhand, and all the disadvantageous things about a mixed grip go away, right? The only thing that's pain is it's going to hurt your thumbs, right? If you deadlift 545 pounds with a hook grip, you're going to finish and your thumbs are going to hurt. Also, if you never do the hook grip and you build your deadlift up to 315 and now your grip's failing and you're like, now I'm on a hook grip, you're not gonna be used to it, right? So you're like, this really hurts. I'll be like, I've been telling you to hook grip it since you were at 135. You didn't believe me, you were gonna get strong and actually need to use it. So now you're screwed, right? So you wanna use the hook grip early. The other thing is you can do a mix of these things, right? So you might do all your warm-ups with the double overhand, and then you might get to your work set and say, okay, I just gotta bear with this hook grip for 5 reps. Wrap the thumbs, execute the 5 reps, and you're done. Or you might do something like pull the first 4 reps of your set or first 3 reps of your set with a double overhand, and then realize, oh, my grip's starting to go, quickly hook grip, right? You can make those changes. Have a lady I train in London, and every time she pulls a heavy set of 5, she has the first 3 with a double overhand, she goes to the bound, she flips her left hand, she pulls the last 2 with a mix, right? So you can do other things. Lifting straps, right? I told James, I don't like gloves in the gym. I don't like gloves in the gym because it's important to get contact with the bar, especially in the deadlift, right? You can't deadlift with, you can deadlift with gloves, but you can't deadlift any real weight because it's gonna create the distance between your hand and the bar. You're not gonna be able to grip it as well, all kind of issues. And then plus we want our hands to get a little bit tough. I don't want all the women walking around with man hands. You can manage your calluses, but you do want a little bit of toughness on your hands so when you can grip things and hold the bar and all that kind of stuff. I say all that to say, You know, 10 years ago, like if you brought in straps, I would have been like, do they match your purse? You know, nice. But now I find that these are very useful because a lot of people, you know, if you become an intermediate or even as a novice where you're pulling 3 times a week, if the grip starts to go, the reason I'm going on and on and on and on and on about the grip is if the grip starts to go, the low back can often get out of position. So I would rather you have a secure grip on the bar so that you can train the deadlift heavy. So a deadlift strap, there's a bunch of different kinds. This is called a loop through. It just, you know, creates a little loop. You go like this, you pull it tight against the wrist. It goes under the bar, and then you just grab onto the wrap, and then you kind of like revving a motorcycle. And when you go to pull up, the load is in the strap. So again, this is a good tool if you're struggling with grip, or if you have beautiful manicured hands, or a lady type and you don't really want to get them ruined right now, you know, hook gripping and breaking your thumbnail, great option. And if you're not thinking of competing, it probably doesn't matter, right? So if you're thinking of competing, you're not allowed to use straps. But if you're just like, hey, I'm just here to get strong, like then this is a good tool. Or again, it's like another thing in your toolbox. So I have a day where I usually pull 3 sets of deadlifts. So it might be a top single, it might be a top triple, it might be a top set of 5. But I'll do that top set, hook grip. Boom, that hurt. Now I got 2 back off sets of 5, strap it up, right? So it's just an option. So that's all that for grip, because if you mess up your grip, your back will get out of position and you run into issues. Okay, footwear, last, and then we'll start lifting. So every time I post a Daniel, I'll say, because he has it, on X, right? Like if you don't follow me at X, I post lifting stuff all the time. If you want free coaching, go on X and tag me. If you post it publicly, I'll do it for free. Don't DM me, don't text me, I'll just ignore you. Kind of kidding, kind of not. Anyway, shoes. Every time I do it, the internet, I say X because that's where people have the most opinions. They get really upset about lifting shoes. Why are you having him pull in an elevated heel? Great, but why is she in an elevated heel? You know, this isn't as optimal as a flat, hard shoe, blah, blah, blah. The real answer is this. People come in through that door, they have no idea how to lift weights. I've already sprayed you with 1,000 pieces of information. The last thing I need you to do, like you don't even know how to put on a belt. I want you to buy a belt. You don't even know how to use straps. The last thing I want you to do is be like changing shoes during workouts. So I think a squat shoe, it's like, hey, come on, wear a shoe. Let me tell you why you should wear a shoe. Good job, you just finished squatting. Let's go over here and bench press. Hey, great job. Okay, it's time to go over here and deadlift. And it's like, she's just lifting to get stronger as a human being, right? So is Curtis, so you know, so is everyone. So it's, hey, I'm not gonna stress about the shoe. Is a flat shoe with no heel that's harder better? I don't really think so, but I guess, yeah, you don't have to pull the bar as high, right? But I mean, think about what we're talking about. Like we're complaining about like that little bit. So again, if you're someone like with long femurs or there's someone that struggles to get on your toes, I might get you out of your squat shoe and put you in like a deadlift slipper or a flat shoe. I own some, but in general, I don't think it matters, right? Like I don't think it matters. And if you're, you know, if your deadlift's, you know, 150 pounds, like the shoe is not the issue right here, right? Like let's get your deadlift up. And then you know, if you want to use a shoe, like by all means, go for it. But it's just not needed. Okay, how to deadlift, how to grip the bar, chalk, last thing, chalk. So never chalk the bar. This goes for all lifts. You don't chalk the bar. This stuff called knurling is knurling. It's grippy. It's so that I can hold it in the bar. So if my hands get sweaty, I don't come over here and go and do that. No, I want that exposed to use it, so I chalk my hands. Generally, you want to focus on this portion between the thumb and the index finger, particularly if you're going to be hook gripping, and then you're going to get down here on the palm like that. A nice and respectful gym owner would have done everything I just did right over the bucket, right? And then I just go together like this, and boom. I'm not coating myself in white. You know, I'm not slapping people on the butt, and you can see handprints. I'm just like taking the edge off the sweaty palm. That's all I'm doing. If you're like yeah, there's no LeBron claps. He's terrible anyway. No. But if you're like one of those sweat monsters that like, you know who you are. I don't think we have one because I know, but like always has a towel and it's like, what is going on? Like don't go right in the chalk bucket like covered. Like have your towel, dry your hands off as best you can. They're still gonna be moist and then go into the chalk. But you're gonna wanna use chalk every time as it starts to get heavy.